I'd given Elise shotgun as a courtesy. Wait, they've already made you a deal? I remembered what Levi had said on my front porch, how quickly this was all going to go. $500,000, she said shyly. Both Morgan and I gasped. $500,000? Even though I wasn't super clued into salaries, that had to be way more than most people in our town earned in a lifetime. Elise's mom didn't work, and her father was a mechanic, but only after being out of work for more than a year. Elise quickly added, "We're probably getting more because we lost everything, and please don't tell anyone. It's supposed to be a secret, I think." So I think we're going to take it. "Florida?" Morgan said, stunned. "You're not serious." Uncle Rob might have a job lined up for Dad, too. It was quiet in the car for a few minutes, the three of us thinking about what this meant. Even though Elise and I weren't the closest, she was still part of all my visions of this summer, and then our senior year after that. Everything I had once seen clear as day was suddenly blurry. "You know," Elise said, "my mom said flights are actually pretty cheap, if you buy them far enough ahead. We could plan a trip so you both can come and visit. Maybe at the end of summer when you guys know where you'll be moving to. We can go to Harry Potter World." I didn't know if that thing about cheap flights was true. Neither Morgan nor I had ever been on a plane, so it might as well have been a rocket ship ticket to Mars. Morgan's eyes returned to the road, but her mouth still hung open. Meanwhile, Elise flipped down the visor and checked her makeup. I saw it on her face, her hope that this would come true, trying to butt out the reality that it probably wouldn't. On our way back into town, we hit the police roadblock, and all of us had to show photo IDs to get through. Every road that led to Elise's street had been cordoned off with lengths of yellow caution tape and unmanned construction equipment parked to make an impenetrable barrier. The closest we could get was a good quarter-mile away, on a wooded stretch of road that wound up the hill without any houses or streetlights. We pulled off at a place Elise said would be good, and Morgan's car rocked to a lopsided stop half in the rain ditch. We got out and clicked on our flashlights. Morgan and Elise were whispering quietly with each other. The vibe felt extra somber since the whole Florida thing. I ran ahead to try and scare them, but ended up sinking pretty far in some mud. It took both of them to pull me free. I was laughing, and I admittedly made it a little tougher on them just to be funny, but the girls didn't really get into it, and they didn't laugh when I let myself flop on my butt, staining my entire backside with mud. Elise led the way confidently, though she did get us turned around a few times. After about 30 minutes, I felt Morgan come up beside me. "Maybe we should go back," she whispered, but before I could say anything, Elise called out for us. She had found an open lane cut through the trees where a stretch of telephone poles and power lines snaked down the hill toward the valley. "This leads right to my house," she said. Another quarter-mile and we veered left and ran smack into a mountain of fresh dirt, clearly man-made, that had to be as high as a house. It smelled so earthy and wet. We scaled the dirt like we were in army training camp or something, scrambling up like little kids. I think every one of us slipped at some point, and by the top, we were all streaked with dirt. No one was laughing. We looked down into the canyon that had been carved away. What had once been a street at the bottom of the hill was nothing but a pit of mud. "Jeez," Morgan whispered. It was odd, because we'd already seen pictures in the newspaper and on the television, but there was something about seeing it live. It was finally undeniably real. Elise scurried down first. She fell hard and smeared mud across the front of her pretty new blouse. And then once again. It didn't slow her. She took the stumbles and went with them. At the bottom of the dirt mound there were more bulldozers parked, and big dumpsters filled with debris. I had been on this street 100 times, but there was no trace of pavement. I had been inside Elise's house more times than I could count. I burned the inside of my forearm baking Christmas cookies in her kitchen in December. I streaked nude around her backyard with my hair in hot rollers on a sleepover dare. But there wasn't even a brick of foundation left. Nothing even remotely in the shape of a house. Morgan and I merged flashlight beams with Elise, hoping, I guess, that more light might help us find some kind of landmark. But Elise was wandering around aimlessly, spinning like a top that was running out of inertia. "Is this it?" she said, breathless.